There's a spicy, new South Indian restaurant that opened near work, and I just had to try it. And that's starting right now. GIK, short for Great Indian Kitchen, recently opened in a location that was previously home to an old school sit-down Chinese restaurant and most recently a Mexican restaurant. Based on the reviews online, GIK is the spiritual successor to Nirvana, a South Indian restaurant just down the road that wouldn't serve me takeout when they had the buffet going. Proximity to work, availability to takeout, and needing a working lunch brought me in to try GIK on this day. I had a rare slot of time away from work where I could pick up lunch. And when I pulled up GIK's website, I realized I could order online. So that made it easy. The menu is a lot, combining appetizers, entrees, chef specialties, entrees. There's over 75 items easily on that menu. And that's before you get to breads, desserts, chutneys, and soups. It's not a particular concern because a lot like Chinese takeout, that's kind of indicative of the fact that you can get many dishes with similar sauces or preparations. Things fall into the same category just with different proteins. But it did pose an issue in terms of how to order, or at least how to figure out how to order. But the one thing you guys should know about me by now is that I'm pretty predictable. I saw pho on the menu, and pho is a style of curry that's made with a large amount of Indian peppers and spices, some of the hottest on earth. And in some kitchens, this preparation is actually done where the chef has to wear a gas mask in order to protect him from the fumes. And that's what I was thinking of trying, but then I thought about it a little bit more, and I figured for my first outing with this Indian restaurant, it should be my favorite Indian dish. Especially since I was eating lunch at work, I couldn't be at my desk crying like a little baby. So my favorite dish is tikka masala, and I got chicken tikka masala. Don't worry though, when the system gave me the option to order it spicy, I went extra spicy. I didn't even think twice. So much for logic. For good measure, I threw in kashmiri naan with nuts and raisins, which is something I've never had before. I will say though, looking at this menu now, I'm surprised I missed the fact that they also have chili chicken, which is a dish I tried for the first time a few months ago, and chicken 65, which is a dish I've never tried before. Maybe next time. The elephant to get out of the room right away is the prices. Chicken tikka masala was $18, which seems to be the lowest price for all of the dishes with protein. My experience lately is that prices for Indian food seems to be increasing, and it's definitely something I can understand, but it's still a little bit of a shock every time that I order. I don't mind paying if the food is worth it, so let's see how it tastes. Unpacking all of this, the fragrance of the food was mind-blowing. Even the basmati rice. After the initial shock and disappointment of how small it appeared, opening up that container of rice, the scent of cardamom and cumin really jumped out. The same is true for the bread. The Kashmiri naan had chunks of nuts, raisins, coconut baked right into it, and each of those items emitted some crazy fragrance when I opened that bag. The tikka masala was the most intense fragrance. Filled to the brim, I was afraid to actually disturb this one and open it up. But once I did, I got a huge waft of that sweet tomatoey sauce and all those Indian spices that are mixed in there and kind of caramelized. But the one thing I got the most was chili. In fact, I was starting to get a little scared of that extra spicy order. Not gonna lie. Let's talk about a bite and I'll tell you a little more of my conversation with the staff. Immediately upon biting this, the heat attacked. It's a level of heat that's sure to open your eyes and send your endorphins right into high gear. Great on a hot day like the day that I ate this. The sauce was rich and creamy and had that nice sweet tomato base. The texture was smooth out, so it made for a really pleasant eating experience. But there was a pretty big flaw. The ratio of sauce to chicken was way off. I wouldn't exactly say I'm complaining about the portion here, but if not for the bread that I ordered for a little extra dunking, I wouldn't have even come close to finishing that sauce. In fact, I'd even argue based on the sheer volume of extra sauce that was remaining, that this was more of a soup than a curry. Moving on though, the tandoori chicken was very good. It had that slight red ring around it that's indicative of the food coloring that's usually put into tandoori chicken. But in a dish like this, the chicken kind of plays second fiddle to the gravy. And that gravy was really good. Maybe these guys are onto something by providing so much excess sauce. My favorite part of eating this, as always, is picking up some of the gravy with the chicken, with some of that naan. And in this case here, fruity and nutty mix-ins into the naan added some extra layers of complexity and textures to this. I had no idea getting crazy with the naan would make such a difference. When I arrived, it was about 5 minutes earlier than the online portal told me the food would be ready. When I got there, the order wasn't ready and the man at the counter was super apologetic, even though I told him that it was I who was early. We got to talking about the heat level, and he told me they were actually working on my sauce and reducing it even more than usual, just to make sure that it's nice and spicy. I shared with him that I was thinking about ordering pho, but decided not to since I was having kind of a working lunch. And he shared stories about how customers have ordered that without knowing what they were getting into. And just so you guys know, I'm totally nuts. So I'll do it. Hit this video with a thumbs up, and once we get to 100, I'll go back there and I'm gonna try the goat fall. Let's get nuts. I totally didn't understand chili chicken the first time I ever tried it. Click into this video right here to see what I experienced the first time I tried this dish.